Hey everybody, it is Kellen Nitro for Nitromaniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited, and on October 2nd, 2019, the war officially started. That's right, the first round of the Wednesday Night War between AEW and WWE with the NXT brand went on Wednesday, October 2nd. We'll focus in this video on the AEW Dynamite pilot from Washington, D.C., from the Verizon Center in Washington, D.C., on October 2nd, 2019, a sold-out crowd of 14,000 plus. And it looked every bit sold out on TV, and I imagine being there live, it probably was. Here is my take. Here's Nitro's take on AEW's pilot broadcast on TNT and on TSN up here in Canada. First, I'm going to hit you with some figures. Between March 26, 2001, which was the last Monday Nitro on the TNT network, to October 2nd, 2019, there was 6,764 days between wrestling programs on TNT. You can do the equation over to years to see how many that is, but that's with 365 days a year, that's quite a bit of days right there. Also, with this being on TSN, I kind of ballparked the end of the WWE TSN contract to August 27th, 2006. If that figure is wrong, please post in the comments below and let me know. I've been looking for the exact number and when the score got exclusivity of WWE stuff, since they announced the deal on Tuesday before, Wednesday Night Dynamite or AEW Dynamite started, the day before, right? But if that rings true, and that is correct, 8/27/2006 to 10/2/2019 is 4,782 days. Well, now we're just going to have to wait 7 because it's on every Wednesday now on TNT and on TSN. And the opening contest to get everybody started, after a huge intro by Jim Ross, Excalibur, and Tony Schiavone, who, after, again, 6,764 days, makes his way back into the wrestling commentary booth for a wrestling show on TNT. It's almost as if he hadn't left. Sammy Guevara, Cody, your opening contest. And, man, this was match of the night already. It was just high-paced action for both, back and forth. It was an incredible contest and a great, kind of a nice sampler to show everybody what this will be and what this could be going forward for AEW and for TNT and the style of matches that we're going to get. It's almost like pay-per-view style quality, all these matches. Will they be able to keep that up? Will they be able to keep up the pacing of these matches? Time will tell. I think they got enough people on the roster where you don't have to have the same guys doing these matches every week. You can almost, draft people in each week and you'd be good, which seems to be what they're doing here over the next 2 weeks or so. There was a cringeworthy spot here where Guevara pulled Brandy Rhodes right into the line of fire as Cody attempted a plancha. It looked like kind of a sick bump. I think Brandy wasn't too happy with the bump that she took there off that. It looked pretty bad on TV. But we'll go ahead and just give them benefit of the doubt with that and say that it was all planned and all part of it, obviously. But it looked really bad watching it on TV. I can only imagine watching it on person or in person at the arena there. It probably looked maybe just as well. Who knows? Finish ended up going like this. Guevara attempted a vertebreaker. He jumped to the top rope right after and drove his opponent to the mat with a super Spanish fly. However, Cody caught him with a small package to score a hard-fought pinfall win. Of course, this was for Cody's title shot against Chris Jericho at Full Gear coming out on November 9th. And had Cody lost, Sammy Guevara would have got the #1 contendership, if you will, for the AEW Championship. So, this was high stakes already off the top of the show. I think that this match was probably about, maybe 15 or 16 minutes or so. I didn't time any of these matches at all. But it was a great showcase, definitely over the opening segment and into the second segment of what they had. At the very end of it all, Tony Schiavone attempts to get an interview with Cody. Cody is trying to talk, and then Guevara interrupts, wants to shake Cody's hand. which distracts Cody and allows Chris Jericho to come from behind and jump Cody. They fight. They go to commercial with Cody getting a code breaker from Jericho, and then when we come back, they're battling on the outside of the ring and that stuff, and eventually Jericho lays out Cody on the outside of the ring. Flow right into the next contest, which was Brandon Cutler, Mr. D&D himself, taking on MJF, which is kind of a cool dynamic between the two of them. And this was hyped a little bit on the Being the Elite series as well, Brandon Cutler versus MJF as well. MJF walks out, cuts another great heel promo. The finish of the match went as such. Cutler attempted a perfect tope suicida outside of the ring, hammered away at MJF. However, MJF, as soon as both guys came in the ring, it looked like Cutler had knee issues or something, or had an issue with his knee, and MJF took advantage of it, seizing an opportunity created by a momentary referee distraction. MJF applied an armbar and forced a tap out, which is the salt of the earth armbar, which is not a crossface. I had to correct a couple people on Twitter. It is an armbar, and a very Chris Jericho-esque armbar, if you will. Very quick match, a great introduction to MJF to the TNT and the TSN crowds that were watching this live, and also probably another great... Cutler's a little bland right now, but I think that they'll develop him a little bit and everything. He's kind of test bland, if you will. MJF's got so many dimensions to him right now. Is he a cocky heel? Is he a tweener? We'll find out for sure. Is he going to eventually stab Cody in the back? I think so, but we'll see later on. This, of course, is when we had the celebrity introduction where Chris Van Vliet came out and basically introduced the Live House and us on TV to Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith, who were there kind of cross-promoting the new Jay and Silent Bob movie that Chris Jericho's a part of. And while that was going on, Angelico and Jack Evans walk out, Jack Evans becoming heel of the year, pretty much yelling to Jason Mewes that Morris Day and the time sucked. Jason Mewes fires back and says, listen, you suck because you haven't won a match yet in AEW. They're about ready to fight, and then Private Party shows up and kind of whisks them away. So, read into that if what you will. Celebrity crossover off the first show, very WWE-esque type thing, but I'll overlook it because I actually like Kevin Smith, and I'm looking forward to the new movie. It'll be good. Hangman Page versus Pac. Everybody knows about the back history between these two. The match that was supposed to happen at Double or Nothing but ended up getting canceled because a week before, Pac decided to basically issue an open challenge over in England. Page was there. They had their match over there, and then Pac basically bowed out at Double or Nothing, i.e. there was something going on with the contracts or the exclusivity thing, and Pac at the time didn't want to I guess affix himself to that. Then we were supposed to get Moxley versus Omega at All Out, and Moxley had to bow out because of the injuries sustained in the G1 with his elbow and everything, a recurrence and whatever. So Pac then all of a sudden jumps back in to takes on Omega. We have Omega Pac at All Out. It was great. And so now finally in an AEW ring we get Hangman Page versus Pac on TNT TV, and this was really good. This would have been match of the night, but I think that Cody and Sammy really, for an opening contest, really set the table really well because they were in an important spot. This was the first match that people on TNT would see in almost a 17-year period. This is going to try and get back to Southern wrestling style crowd, the WCW crowd, and they're fans of that type of style and everything, and it's kind of a hybrid cruiserweight style that AEW has. That's where the indies kind of have morphed into. This is what if the WCW cruiserweight division actually took over, is what you're looking at right now with a lot of the workers and a lot of the independent talent. So this was they were in an important spot. This was also an important match too. This was the importance with this, with Shivani and JR and Excalibur throughout the night with all these matches really build things up. And here's the thing. Here's the most refreshing thing about it is we did not see once maybe a backstage promo or anything. This was just straight ahead rock and roll from the start. Just match. The only real entertainment-y The only real sports entertainment-y portion of the show was maybe the Jason Mewes, Kevin Smith, and Helico Jack Evans segment, but that was kind of more celebrity rub than anything else. This was just 2 hours straight solid wrestling, and I loved it. This match was amazing between Pac and Hangman Page. We didn't get the picture-in-picture up here in Canada that you guys did in the States, just due to the fact that I don't think they had the technology set up yet for TSN, but I'm sure it's coming. So we missed whatever was happening there, but the coming back from commercials and everything like that was fairly on par. We actually beat you guys probably a couple of times coming back from commercials, where because the camera kind of stayed static and then sort of buzzing around for like a good maybe 15 or 20 seconds. So the finish went as such. Pac escaped a buckshot lariat from Page, delivered an undetected low blow, and executed a red arrow, which I think they're calling the black arrow now in AEW. And then off of that, he hooked in the Rings of Saturn submission that he uses and got Page to basically pass out. I don't think Page tapped out for the win. I think it was just more of a pass out, and Earl Hebner, who was a referee, had to go and call for the bell. So Pac is 2-0. I think he's ripe for a face champion, which means that if Jericho loses the belt at Full Gear to Cody, I think Pac will probably be the next challenger for that AEW title, and we might get back to the original storyline that I think we were going to see coming into Double or Nothing, or coming out of Double or Nothing, between Hangman Page and Pac, maybe going for the AEW championship in that lineup in 2020. And of course, what is happening with Adam Page? At one time, he was a can't-miss blue-chip prospect, won the Casino Royale Battle Royal at Double or Nothing, lost the title match at All Out to Chris Jericho, and now lost again. So what does that mean to Adam Page going forward? We'll have to wait and see. Maybe next week we'll get some clarification on it. The Women's Championship match between Nyla Rose and Riho. This is actually a really interesting match. On one of my rewatches of the show, I rewatched the show about 3 times, and on one of my rewatches, while I was hanging around that stuff, I had a family member walk by that's not into wrestling, but wanted to watch, but saw Riho and Nyla Rose on screen, and she actually really enjoyed this match, which is saying something for a non-wrestling fan. So kudos to both those women. You pulled in the non-wrestling fans in this caliber of match for the AEW Women's title. Real back and forth match, your typical David versus Goliath back and forth. Great story told. Dr. Britt Baker was at the commentary table with Tony and JR and Excalibur, and really didn't add too much commentary, but the storyline with her was she was watching, and almost as if like she was I'll take winner type scenario. So again, the very end, your classic David versus Goliath story, with Riho trying to superplex or to suplex Nyla all match and couldn't get her over, and finally got her over into an improbable superplex after some fiery forearms. Had a close 2 count off of that, or got a close 2 count. But free double knees finally got Riho the hard-fought victory, and we have a new AEW Women's Champion. It's Riho, and right after the match, as Michael Nakazawa was going to interview Riho in Japanese, Nyla Rose came back and attacked Nakazawa, attacked Riho, and looked like she was going to hit like a Death Valley Driver or a Burning Hammer on the apron, when Kenny Omega came out and saved the day and chased Nyla Rose to the back. So it could be very interesting to see what shapes up off of there. Is there a mixed tag in the future with Riho and Omega, who are on again, off again partners in Japan, taking on, I guess, Nyla Rose and maybe, a Jon Moxley, perhaps? We'll have to wait and see, but main event time coming up. And of course, the main event was the 6-man tag team match between the Elite, Jericho, and the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, taking on the former LAX, just Santana and Ortiz now, and the AEW World Champion, Chris Jericho. Now, Jericho had selected Santana and Ortiz in the week leading up to AEW Dynamite to be his mystery tag team partners, of course. So the match started and looked like your typical elite New Japan style squash. They were hitting all the moves. And finally, Kenny decides to go for the Terminator. And when he gets down in that pose, then all of a sudden, from behind him, there's Moxley. They have a match November 9th. They brawl all the way to the VIP area. And Moxley sends Omega through a glass coffee table. A glass coffee table. Deathmatch Mox is going to Mox, I guess. But that leaves a problem in the ring. It leaves the Bucks on a 2-on-3 scenario with LAX, and eventually they get overwhelmed in this match. LAX for the finish, really kind of cool. It's almost like a slingshot Judas effect that they created with Jericho, where Santana and Ortiz pretty much slingshotted, I think, Matt Jackson right into the Judas effect elbow that Jericho gave right in the center of the ring to get the free count. It was awesome. It was pretty cool. It was awesome. It was really cool. I enjoyed that main event quite a bit with the amount of action that was going on. Just right after the bell, Cody makes a save after the Bucks are getting beat down by LAX. Well, Ortiz and Santana. It's going to take a while for me to stop calling them LAX. I'm so used to them being named LAX from Impact, but there we go. And Jericho. And then finally, Cody comes to the ring to try to break that up. Then Sammy Guevara comes to the ring. Lobo blows Cody. We have Dustin Rhodes hitting the ring to save his brother and kind of clean house a little bit and that stuff. And then, man, off the back end of that, Jake Hager, the former Jack Swagger, shows up and clocks Dustin Rhodes and just cleans house. He did a real awesome almost Swagger Bomb-esque finish that I can't remember if it was the Swagger Bomb or what, but I think with that move where it's like a moonsault off the second rope, but he splashes out on, I believe it was Matt Jackson laid out in the corner, but that's how you make an impact. And it seems as though right off the bat there is a heel stable to take on the Elite, pretty much, in All Elite Wrestling, with Guevara, Ortiz, Santana, now Jake Hager maybe working as a heater for the AEW World Champion Chris Jericho. Jericho says next week we'll find out more. Folks, this is how you build a wrestling show. This was amazing. This was 2 hours. It didn't feel like it dragged at all. This was match after match after match. The only part where it seemed to drag a little bit was maybe Cutler MJF, just maybe a tiny bit, and then the celebrity crossover thing, because celebrity crossover things will drag and do what they do. My overall out of this is it is a 9 out of 10, and it is the best television show I've seen from a company this year. Now, I haven't seen NXT from Wednesday night yet. I'm getting ready to watch that right now as we speak, and I'll throw my thoughts out about that once I do. But we'll see what happens. Apparently, there's a really good main event match with Cole and Matt Riddle on there, so looking forward to watching that and seeing what they had to counter program. Then, of course, we got the big unveil, SmackDown on Fox on Friday night. And, of course, we got the big unveil, WWE SmackDown on Fox on Friday Night Maggle. And it'll be, again, that main event with Kofi and Brock. So we'll see what happens off of that. But AEW for the first week of Dynamite, awesome. And the ratings showed it. This show was the higher of the two programs, with a 1.4 rating in the States, 1.4 million versus, I think it was 800,000 for NXT. So if you are looking at week one winner, AEW, of course, everybody wanted to see what the shiny new toy was about. So there we go. So what's your thoughts? Post them below. Let me know what you think. I'm Kellen Nitro. Later days. Happy wrestling watching. We'll have a Nitro's take on the season premiere of NXT coming up. And, of course, of SmackDown coming up, and then maybe even Hell in a Cell this weekend. We'll see what my schedule allows for, but later days, and happy wrestling watching. I do hope you enjoy these as much as I do putting them together for you, and we'll catch you next time on Nitromaniac TV's Wrestling Channel.